at times there are wonderful seasons where everything flows and everything goes so beautiful and the butterflies all sing, and there are other times where it feels like your feet are literally stuck to the floor and you can't move one step forward, and you just have. Why is the why so important in business? If you haven't realized before, business is hard. It's actually very hard. You can often hear people on TikTok, and you follow all these influencers and they tell you, oh, it's so easy, making money is so simple. Well, maybe for some people it is, but I've been at my own business for close on 30 years in various different businesses, and I've had some good successes, uh, I've had some failures, but overall things have done pretty well. And I want to tell you the why is absolutely everything, because the reason being is there are times in your business, no matter how good you are, where things are going to get hard, and they're going to get really, really hard. And suddenly you'll find that just making money is not enough. You won't push through the incredibly tough barriers if making money is the goal. You've got to have a why. Why are you doing this? Why would you push through this barrier when it's so hard and all you want to do is give up? Why are you doing it? I remember about 4 years ago, possibly, yeah, actually about 4 years ago, I decided to get into property full time. Now, it was a huge leap of faith. We kind of I had to give up my business that I was doing in handyman business for the last 15 years to move about 500 kilometers up north to pursue property full time. And the reason I did it is because number one, we felt God was moving us to the north, and that this is something I was supposed to do, and that property was something that was part of my inheritance as a child of God. Another reason was I absolutely adored working in property. And the main reason was that we are trying to create an inheritance for our children's children. And we're trying to change the cycle of where I am right now. And let me tell you, the last 4 years have been incredibly tough, massively tough. I've wanted to give up time and time again. There's so many obstacles. I spent years studying and doing the theory of this thing of how to be in property full time, how to make money, understanding debt, understanding inflation, understanding wealth cycles, many things. Understanding the UK property market, what's cheap, what's expensive, how. I've been working in property for probably almost 30 years on and off. So I understand how to fix things and make things good. I'm very good with my hands. I can make properties look amazing. But, there's so much more that you learn on the job than you can in a classroom, so to speak. I listen to podcasts all the time. So to say I'm well educated would be an understatement. I think I was well qualified and well educated to step into this arena. However, the practice of doing it is a lot harder than I ever thought. There's far more obstacles and far more opposition. And if I didn't have the why, if I didn't know that deep inside of me, this is something God's called me to do, and I'm changing a generation, we're changing our children's lives, I would have stopped long ago. I've wanted to give up many times. But you have to understand why you're doing something. If any of you know anything about me, I have chronic pain as well. So, I struggle immensely with physical pain in my body all the time. So it's literally a 6 out of 10 all day. I take not amazing, but an incredible amount of medication to control that. So one of the reasons that we wanted to get into property is so that when I have flare-ups and stuff and I'm unable to work for months on end, there's income coming in. So there's a very strong wire to that as well. So you've got to have this deep conviction inside you. Why are you going to do a business? Because when you have that conviction, you will get the guts and the faith to just step through that barrier and step through the hard stuff. Because when you're pushed against a wall, you'll give up. If your motivation was, I just wanted to make money and this has looked like a sexy business to do, the second something really hard happens, you quit. And sometimes people succeed and they bypass those hard things and they don't struggle. But let me tell you, life is about struggle. It's there will be lots and lots of times in your life, whether you struggle in your business, in your marriage, in your friendships, there will be something that pops along that you are physically unable to handle and it becomes overwhelming for you, it's just guaranteed. The Bible says in this world you will have trouble. It's Jesus promised that it was a guarantee. So, but then it also says, take heart, I've overcome the world. So we need to learn to live in that place of faith where we have the strong enough why that we're going to press through the difficult times. We're going to press through the tough business times or the tough marriage seasons or the tough family seasons. For us, our daughter was diagnosed with autism, and she's an amazing, amazing child, wonderful child, but it's meant that for high school we've had to take her out of school, and now we're homeschooling, and now that's a huge challenge. It's been challenging and difficult, but at the same time we've like, this is best for her. So we've had to push through that barrier of fear, and that barrier, because it's so much easier just to send your kids to school. It's so much simpler. But actually having to be involved in the education and make things happen is hard. But we know ultimately this is the best thing for her. The Bible says, train up your child in the way they should go, and when they're older, they shall not depart from it. And one of the things we've realized for her is that the way she should go is not necessarily the way we want to go. It's the way that God's made her to go. So we've got to come into agreement with the way she should go and help her go in that direction. And that's part of our journey as parents, is recognizing what's the best way for this child. Your job as a parent is to nurture and love and provide, but it's also just to steer them in the direction that they called to go, and it's to discern where they called to go. So it's a very interesting thing. So what I wanted to just share with you was that if you're in a business, you need to ask yourself, why am I doing this business? And if you're not passionate about it, that's okay. There will be times where you're not passionate about it. But if you don't actually have a why and a reason why you want to be in it, then I suggest you start praying and you start asking God, like, what should I be doing? Because there's, otherwise just get a job or do something random. If you want to get in your own business and really change the trajectory of your family and do something powerful that's not just about you, it's going to be hard. I can't really put that any other way. It's going to be hard, but it's worth it. You will eventually reap the results. The Bible says that do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest. So there's an element where we have to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. We have to just keep putting on the armor of God. We have to keep standing. We got to keep walking through stuff, and it can be difficult. But we just need to keep pushing, and keep pushing, and keep pushing, because eventually we will break through. But if we don't have that firm conviction of why am I doing this, you'll never push through, because it'll just become too hard. You'll get overwhelmed and you'll quit. And we're not supposed to be people like that. We're supposed to be people that walk into the promises that God has for us, and we walk into the inheritance that was promised to us. And so I just wanted to encourage you with that. I mean, I don't know if that helps you at all or discourages you. Maybe like, this guy's saying, oh, everything's going to be hard. It's not. At times, there are wonderful seasons where everything flows and everything goes so beautiful and the butterflies all sing. And there are other times where it feels like your feet are literally stuck to the floor and you can't move one step forward and you just have to stand. And it's in those seasons where you just have to stand your ground and just put on the armor of God and stand. Those are the seasons where you need to know why you're doing this, and even as times as a Christian, you need to know, am I on the right team? Yes, I am. God's for me, not against me, and those are the times where the real character is formed in you. And if you don't have character, you're never going to survive the storms of life, because no matter who you are, there will eventually come a storm in your life. And the more prepared you are and the more character you have in you and on you and sort of rooted inside of you, the better you're going to walk through things and the more victorious you're going to have and be in every season of your life. So I wanted to just put that out there today and just encourage you, know your why.